All right, guys. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Live at O'Neill's Stadium Inn on Southwestern, inaugural show. What's wrong with you?
What is wrong with you?
What is wrong with both of us?
All of us.
I haven't figured it out yet. But we're here to talk about the 2018 NFL Draft, some insight on it, which was just last Thursday.
Could I ask a question first?
Sure.
Could you tell me who you are?
I'm no one. Mike Santee, we got Josh Greenhour across the way here. Ben Stack right next to me here.
What's going on?
I don't know. Looking to get through this. Maybe getting some of those wings over there. Probably hot maple. I don't know. They got some like 50 flavors. I don't know. What have you guys tried?
50 flavors. Go with the Frank's Ginger, which is the 51st.
Ooh,
The 51st.
my favorite is probably the hot maple.
Hot maple, 2-1. But I see you have a special menu just for you.
It's actually the owner's secret sauce.
The owner's secret sauce.
That is not as fun as it sounds, but it is delicious.
Okay. Okay. Well, the draft. So we were just talking about before we went live. That was about 3 months of talking, debating, arguing, agreeing, disagreeing.
Mostly
about-
disagreeing.
Yeah, and then it was about, 10, 15 minutes of fun. You said you had zero fun.
I had zero fun.
You had zero fun.
I anxiously waited for the trade up. When it finally came, I just wanted to hear Josh Rosen, and then I heard Josh something other than Rosen, and I was disappointed.
Goodell did hesitate, too. He said Josh, and then he did say Allen, but I think he played with us just a little
At that point, I was already out of food, so there was nothing to...
Are you disappointed? Are you upset? Is Allen not the quarterback that can help this franchise though?
I think that's a good question. One that I don't think really you can answer now. I would have been far more upset had we stayed at 22 and taken,
Rudolph.
Well, Rudolph,
Mason
the
Rudolph
reports
or
were coming
Lamar
out
Jackson.
that was Plan B. Mason Rudolph at 22 was
Right.
Plan B. Which
So we
was-
were going to let Rosen sit no matter what.
Yeah, the thought of Mason Rudolph at 22 when you see him go in the third round to a team with an established starter probably 2 more years, it's just a scary thought. That
Well, Roethlisberger also talks about retirement every third month.
Yeah,
So
very true.
So it's not only just Allen, right? I mean, we traded the 12th overall pick plus 2 seconds this year to move up to 7th. Is that too much? Are we giving up too much for the return? I mean, go big or go home, right? I mean, how many years have we drafted top 10 for a quarterback?
And I think you got to look at it like this. They've been talking since last draft when they traded down with the Chiefs to get number 27 that the fans have been clamoring, trade up and get your guy, trade up and get your guy, to the point where we are tagging people as fill the holes guy or trade everything guy. And they went up and they traded, and they did what they wanted to do. They traded up and they got their quarterback. It might not have been the most popular thing, but it is a quarterback. I mean, we'll have to see what happens. The grades are already coming out. I've seen the draft. People give the Bills an A. I've seen them give them a C. Grades mean absolutely nothing to me when the player hasn't even put on a jersey yet or been to the facility. Josh, we were talking about it before we sat down 3 years ago. Draft grades and how they really mean nothing. So, I mean, what kind of stuff did you come up with?
well, I pulled up some stuff from Pete Prisco, who is not, some schmo on, fandrivel.org.
Yeah.
CBS Sports is a pretty reputable,
Yeah.
and he had regrades of the 2012 draft that he put up in 2016. So looking back, what did he get wrong? What did he get right? And he works on a plus-minus system. So my take was, if you're off 2 whole, his own sections, that's a bad. You've missed. That's probably the difference between 2 or 3 players, unless one of them is a quarterback. So if he gave someone a C- and they end up being a B, that's really bad.
That's bad. That's off.
He's missed.
Yeah.
So based on my own take on his system, he missed 16 teams.
Out of 32.
That's 50%.
That's
We're talking crapshoot numbers at this
Correct.
point.
Now, I will say that about 10 of them were dead on, spot on, but that's still less than a third. So to give instant feedback on something that requires, especially with a quarterback, 2, 3, 4 seasons seems silly to me. And I want to talk specifically about how he did not like the Seattle Seahawks draft that year.
No, and to say the, giving grades to teams, I mean, we can all sit here and give grades. We won't know. Just like we were saying earlier about the Bills, we won't know. I mean, you need years in order to determine what kind of grade they're actually going to get, how it pans out, and then system. Seattle, didn't they have a good team that year? Didn't they?
Well, 2012, they were still piecing stuff together.
Okay.
They had brought in, who was it? The Green Bay backup. Flynn.
Oh, Matt Flynn.
Matt Flynn was going to be their starter.
Yeah.
Paid him some money.
So Pete Prisco, let's go back to that for a minute, gave the Seahawks a C+, which is slightly above average.
Yeah.
In that draft, they got Bobby Wagner, Bruce Irvin, Jeremy Lane, J.R. Sweezy, and some guy named Russell Wilson.
Who's that guy?
Russell Wilson.
Never heard of him.
So on his
small hands,
regrade,
right?
obviously, because 2 Super Bowls came after this,
Right.
A+. And he says, how did I do? And these are his words, not good. I questioned the pick of Irvin in the first round, mainly for character reasons. I want to talk about that at some point. I didn't like them taking Wilson when they just got Matt Flynn. But here's my thing. So if you sign a backup quarterback, someone else's backup quarterback to big money, and I don't want to get back into Flutie Johnson because
I was just going to say, what does that
There
sound
it is.
like? Buffalo fans?
But what does it take for your team to admit we screwed this up? We're just going to go with the kid, which Seattle, to their credit, did.
Yeah, he started game one for them. I don't think Flynn even saw the field that year.
He was far and away the better
That's right.
player.
And the knock on him was his height.
Yeah.
How many times have we heard that?
Right. So this draft expert didn't like one guy because of character issues and another guy because he was short.
But it wasn't just him. I mean,
No,
it wasn't just
fair.
him that had that knock on Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, the big thing, he's got the arm, he's accurate,
He can
he's
run.
got the smarts, he's mobile, but he's too short.
Too short to see over the line, and I think people actually were saying he had small hands.
Drew Brees will tell you,
Yeah.
you can be too short, right? Come on.
I mean, if he's going to be good in the league, and if he's the guy, he's going to be the guy. 6 foot or not. Which is why the Browns took Baker Mayfield. I'll go back to this year's draft. All the comparisons, Manziel. Okay, Baker Mayfield might be, he's got that attitude, might be a punk in some people's eyes, but he's got a different type of a competitive edge than Manziel. I think Browns fans are probably freaking out right now.
Right, but freaking out why?
Oh, well, exactly. Freaking
Because
out
the
just
experts have told them they should have wanted Sam
PTSD.
Darnold.
They should have wanted Sam
PTSD.
Darnold. Yeah, because they had such a
PTSD.
flop.
That's why they're freaking. I mean,
the pit
and
of
they're
misery?
Browns
Yeah. Well, I mean, how many
Yeah.
first round quarterbacks are we going to go through with them here?
until you get it right.
Maybe they got it right.
Nowadays,
Who knows?
keep doing it until you get it right. Every 2 years, you didn't get it right, do it again.
Unless
it's not
you're the
like
Jets.
Washington
it's not like,
did it in 1 year.
It's not
Yeah.
like the past where you're stuck with the contracts.
Right,
You're not
The
tied.
rookie
You're not.
pay.
It's not affecting your franchise long term like it used to. So every 2 years. So that's why people are saying take a chance with Josh Allen. You
Right.
know, because if he doesn't work out next year, the year after, try again.
Well, and you can look at that right here in home in Buffalo. They took E.J. Manuel in 2013. What was he, the 13th overall pick, first round pick, and they booted him out of here in 2 years.
He started 4 games.
4 games, and then he was out. He had the first season because Cobb slipped on a math.
No, that's different. If you're trading up for a quarterback, you really, really believe in him. If you're trading back,
They knew there was going to be some doubt with him.
no, they didn't
Then-
go back a ton, but it was still a first-round pick.
Yeah.
But if you're set, this guy's our franchise quarterback, you go get him.
And people want to compare Allen to E.J. Manuel, and I don't think that's fair because the so-called experts said E.J. nobody had anything really positive besides he had a strong arm and he was mobile, but there was no positives, or he didn't have that ceiling Josh Allen has.
Right.
And
Well, and that night when they took E.J. Manuel, Josh, you and I immediately torches and pitchforks
Yeah.
after this guy because nobody could tell me what he does well. They're like, well,
Right.
what is his skill set? He's this. It was just he was okay at a bunch of things, but it wasn't like Allen where he's athletic and he can fire the ball. And you've seen it. You talk to everybody about Manuel. It's like, well, he's a nice guy.
Right.
And he's probably the best graded quarterback in the draft. Well, that doesn't mean he's going to be a franchise guy just because you like him.
Right. And they sort of painted themselves into a quarterback corner there because Buddy Nick said, I need to leave here setting them up with a franchise quarterback. So you almost have to take one after you say that.
Yeah, the leaked phone call or whatever it was that
Right.
got out, and
Yeah.
he really hurt them bad with that. They probably should have kept Fitzpatrick one more year.
What was the biggest knock on Josh Allen?
Inaccuracy.
Accuracy.
So yeah, completion percentage, right?
Right.
He had a 56% completion percentage.
Which is, I think, and I know it's a jump, but I'm pretty sure that's right about Cam Newton's career. And people think Cam Newton's great, and I'm not one of them, but I think if you ask most Bills fans, would you sign up for Cam Newton, they would all say yes.
Would you
Yeah.
sign up for Brett Favre? Would you sign up for Matthew Stafford?
I would sign up for Favre and not Stafford.
Okay. Well, Favre had a 52% completion percentage in college. Stafford had a 57. 52, I mean, that's by far lower than a 56. I mean, that's a significant jump because if you figure you give 4% to Allen and you put him at a 60%, then nobody's even talking about this. Nobody's talking about a 60% completion percentage.
And I'm glad you
52.
said that. I'm glad you brought that up. But we talked about this last night. How you can Tyrod Taylor, who he is
Your favorite quarterback.
No,
Come on.
farthest thing from.
Come on.
He is what he is.
Your favorite quarterback.
Chuck, you're laughing over there.
Our
But
producer, Charles Stack. Thank you for setting this up.
yeah, Stack Shot Studios here, inaugural one. Wedding photos, videos, whatever you need, give the guy a call. He set us up pretty nice here today. So far, I think we're not making a fool out of him.
That was our first segue to
Try to make
a
it
mini
more.
advert, and I
Yeah.
think we
was it?
handled it well.
I think it
Was
did
it
all right.
smooth? It went
Yeah,
in?
you know, I'm
well.
going to call myself 1 for 1 on that. But
We'll
going
try
back to the
again.
Taylor point, you could just writhe with inaccuracies. He'd miss passes bad, but 62% completion percentage. You can doctor a completion percentage with easy passes, screen passes.
Chad Pennington.
You can make a quarterback accurate based on the offense you run. If they stick Allen out there, and for whatever the reason, he's got to jump in and play early this year, you can throw – you got LaShawn McCoy. You can throw passes out of the backfield. You can throw to your tight ends. You can throw passes underneath. You can make quarterbacks accurate. So the completion percentage, I don't really buy into it too much, especially in the college system.
Not only can you make quarterbacks accurate, you can also skew numbers to fit your narrative, right? If we want to sit here and talk about this, I mean, okay, well, let's go back to J.P. Lawson. He had a 57%. Or better yet, let's go back to quarterbacks like the ones that didn't work out and they have a high completion percentage. I mean, we're not talking about that. Numbers, they are what they are. Until you put them in a system and make them work, that's where our coaches, I believe, are going to come and play a key role into this guy's development.
Yeah, I think more important than almost as important as if Allen picks it up and he's an NFL quarterback is Brian Dable. Local radio, even talking amongst ourselves, nobody's really talked too much about this guy because I don't even think they've introduced him to the press yet. We don't know what kind of offense he's going to run. We don't really know what he's all about other than he was in the holier than thou Patriots organization for a cup of coffee, and he ran Alabama's offense for a couple of years. Before that, he was with the Browns and the Chiefs, and they didn't have fantastic seasons. So it's kind of, you don't really know what you're going to get with this guy. You got to hope that the two figure it out, and that we talk about the process, that Bean and McDermott know what they're doing by putting maybe not the most popular choice, but they're putting the right choices together, which you got to think they kind of know what they're doing, figuring they won 9 games with almost nothing last season.
All right, so super quick, just a quick list here. I'm going to guess we're going to want most of these guys on our team. These are the most accurate passers in NFL history. So based on this list, it matters.
Okay.
The most accurate passer in NFL history is Drew Brees.
Okay.
He's pretty good.
66.9% completion. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Chad Pennington is number 2.
You want him.
Kurt Warner, Kirk Cousins, Peyton Manning, Tony Romo, Rodgers, Matt Ryan, Steve Young, Phillip Rivers, Roethlisberger. Most of these guys are current. Russell Wilson, Brady, Matt Schaub, who was not terrible, I guess, but whatever. Joe Montana, Bradford, Carson Palmer. Most of that list are Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
And it's hard to teach accuracy if it's a passing tree issue. I can't complete an out. My timing's off on a go. But it seems like people who want to make excuses for Josh Allen will say, there weren't bubble screens and there weren't, short sluggo routes and.
Listen, I didn't want Josh Allen. I'll be honest. Let me preface this. I wanted Josh Allen 2 years ago, a year ago. But this past year in college, he did not look like the quarterback that would lead a franchise to a Super Bowl, and that's obviously the ultimate goal. I wasn't a big proponent of him. I wanted Rosen. I believe both of you also wanted.
Yeah, Rosen was the first
Josh
choice.
Rosen.
Yes.
But I went back and I looked at some of his tape. I looked at some of the film, and you see no help. You see an offense where they didn't, and I know that you're just talking about this and it's making excuses. I don't know if it's just making excuses. I mean, they coach at Wyoming probably for a reason. They're not going to be your Nick Sabans. They're not going to be your Urban Meyers. They're just not. And I think they saw a guy who had a big arm and they wanted to take shots. All of a sudden, they're in 3rd and long. And what do you have to do there? You have to take shots. They had no run game. They had no offensive line help. The receivers couldn't get separation. I mean, you're just looking at things where all that combined, I think there is room for improvement. And who was it? Jordan Palmer that was working with him because some of his footwork.
Currently.
Right. Another thing was his footwork. If he could improve on his footwork, then you could improve on your accuracy.
He says he has.
Yeah.
He says his footwork is pro style.
Did you see his pro day?
Some of it.
Did you see the receivers he had just even in a pro day dropping balls?
Well,
I mean, that just kind of shows you the kind of even in a pro day, simple balls they were dropping.
Yeah, they were dropping passes. I don't think they're really looking to make sure that the guy held. If the ball was there,
right?
They're not going to knock Josh Allen on that ball.
Right. Well, that
guys
can bring
in
us
a
to
pro day to catch the ball. Come on.
But that can bring us to our next topic. Who's he throwing the ball to here?
True.
Calvin Benjamin is a big man.
Calvin Benjamin, yeah.
Charles Clay is also a big man.
Can they both? They're both good weapons, and they can catch the ball, and they got a good radius.
LaShawn McCoy has ridiculous hands.
Yeah, we talk about the catcher.
I think it goes back to the system.
We talked about this last year a lot. And, this goes back to the thing I just said about making excuses. So maybe I am, maybe I'm not. But I don't understand why you bring in an offensive coordinator who wants to run a pocket-style offense and then bring back a guy who is not a pocket passer.
Which is why I said that banging the drum that Lamar Jackson was a zero chance pick here.
But what happened in Alabama's title game? They were playing a pocket system, and it was failing. So not only did they switch quarterbacks, they completely switched the playbook.
Right, that's right.
So
that's a testament to the offensive coordinator.
From Dable.
Yeah. But he
did it. But the fact that he changed.
He did that.
Right.
He made adjustments. How many times as Bills fans have we seen we don't make the adjustments? We come out of half and we're not making the adjustments.
Or we just keep asking, what is wrong with you?
What is wrong with you?
Here at O'Neill Stadium
yeah, something wrong with me.
So we talked a lot about Josh Allen. He was the Bills' first overall pick, but we also can't forget that they did draft another guy, pretty big guy, a guy bigger than Josh Allen himself.
Yeah, I couldn't believe that when I saw it.
With the second of their first-round picks. So what they did is they went from 22nd, they traded up to 16. They also gave away a third-round pick this year. So the first pick of the third round they had this year, but they got in return a fifth. We got Tremaine Edmonds.
I liked it. I was texting people. We could hear on the TV when it was time for it was the Ravens pick we traded with Ravens.
Yep, traded
and
with
all
the
of a sudden
Ravens.
it said Buffalo's on the clock, and we saw the Ravens countdown, and then it changed over. Like, wait, whoa! I think I just heard the Bills are there. I thought they were going off offense with that.
I did too.
Breaking news. Russ Brandon has just been let go.
Start the show over again.
You're not messing with me, are you? Well, it's one of the happier days.
Wow.
No
So
more Russ
look
Brandon.
at that.
Well, ticket sales are about to go down.
Right in the middle of our first.
Well, All right. So Tremaine, anyway, like we were saying, Tremaine Edmonds, I thought they were going offense,
I
but
did
then
too.
a major need there when you figure middle
I thought
linebacker.
Calvin Ridley was coming.
Yeah, that's who I think they were even saying on the TV, Calvin Ridley. But then when they said Tremaine Edmonds, then you saw some of the film on this kid and just the measurables on this guy, and they can plug him in the middle. Yeah, that's a Sean McDermott guy. I think that's the Luke Kuechly.
They said a top 5 pick. They expected him to go top 5
I
pick.
saw most mocks. He went as the latest was 8.
And we got him. So what a steal. That makes you wonder, though, why did he drop?
Because part of that, and maybe not that far, part of that is Cleveland pushing value down the board.
Yeah, it's true.
Because, I mean, taking Denzel Ward at 4, push Chubb down, Quentin Nelson down. I mean, that's one spot, but is it really when teams are trading up for quarterbacks?
Yeah, you figure you had 4 quarterbacks sitting in the top 10. You got position players
Sliding,
and,
right.
And I think we talked about this before that was a potential that was going to happen. So
do we want to end here on a so long to Russ Brandon?
Well, no, let's end on the last
We are
segment.
here at O'Neill Stadium we might actually be able to see Russ Brandon leaving with his boxes of things.
It looks like he was let go because of an internal investigation of misconduct.
There's
This just in.
I have
Happy
an
day
idea
for
what
Bills
it.
fan?
I have an idea what it could be. It's crazy. You're going to say what's wrong with you? I'm wondering if this is a crazy theory. Do you think he released the tweets from Josh Allen to have him
No.
drop down?
no.
Crazy theory.
What is
Crazy
wrong?
conspiracy.
What is wrong with you?
What is wrong
There's
with
a lot
you?
of things wrong with me.
Mike
but,
Sante, what is wrong with you?
but what if?
Speaking of what
but
if,
I did like the Edmonds pick. I really did like the Edmonds pick.
speaking of what if, let's maybe end this on a segment that I'm going to call "The Bills Almost Got It Right." This is going to go back. Almost got it
Almost.
right. So basically, what's going to happen here is I'm going to name a player that the Bills drafted in the first round, and a player was either drafted immediately after him or a couple picks after him. So they almost got it right, except they failed horribly. So this is going to go
is
back.
gonna hurt.
So
This is going to hurt because this happened a lot.
You know,
so this is
we
going
were
back to
having
the
fun.
2006 NFL draft when Mario Williams was drafted number 1.
right.
Do you remember this draft? Reggie
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Bush, Vince Young, big
Liner.
controversy.
Matt Liner.
So we drafted in this number 8 overall Buffalo drafted. They took Dante Whitner. We thought that, okay, we got our first. Like this year, they also traded up. So Bills traded back into the first round, pick 26. And do you remember who they took?
John McCargo.
John
Yeah,
McCargo.
it's John McCargo.
They took John McCargo. You know who was drafted? And that was at 26. You know who was drafted at 29th? Sante, I know.
I
you know.
want to say Brian Arakpo.
Nope.
It wasn't the
Nope.
Arakpo year.
No, it
That was
wasn't.
the Maven year.
That was
Yep,
the
that was
Maven.
the Maven.
Oh, that's even better.
You're killing the answers. You're killing the answers to future segments. Nope.
Oh! You talk about him. Is that Nick Mangold? Right?
Nick Mangold.
Nick Mangold.
The best center out of the Ohio State.
The
best
Ohio
center
State.
for years to come. So we traded up. Not only did we take Dante Whitner, we also took a second first-round pick before Nick Mangold. It just goes to show we could do this a lot, but the Bills almost got it right.
How many McCargo get through? How many games did he play? Did he even play?
I don't think he really played. I can tell you this, that he was the third defensive lineman out of NC State.
On his own team, yeah.
Third. Come on, guys. Really? Buffalo, you didn't think that maybe
High motor guy.
Mario Williams was the one that opened up everybody else to
High
get,
motor guy.
High motor guy. He had good
Character.
speed for that cold weather. I don't.
he
I
had
don't
character and he had a high motor. Bring him to Buffalo.
know. I tell you, there's a. I don't know. I think the Maven one hurts more. Brian Arakpo too. But well, guys, I thought we had a very productive day. First day, covered some good topics. So I've got nothing left to bring to the table there. We'll leave it on that downer note of draft failures of the Bills' past. I'm sure we'll revisit that next week.
Well, can we, though? There's not much material there.
Oh, there's enough material to last us quite a
I don't
few
know.
segments.
We got about 20 years there.
So next time, if you join us, I'd like to touch on the rest of the draft. I know we only quickly got on the first 2 picks. Also, we'll talk about the holes that the Bills have, the holes that are still open, and when we think that they can get this turned around, if they can get this turned around. Thank you for joining.